Hi guys, okay, so this is a video, it's kind of an about me, only because after my why I broke up video a lot of people were a bit confused at saying, oh, which husband, or I thought your husband died, how come you broke up with him, so many questions. And this video is kind of just to give you a quick summary of how many husbands I've had, how many breakups, how many deaths. I don't know why I'm laughing, it's quite depressing. 1 minute while I go cry. So yeah, it's just kind of like a quick kind of summary as to all my marriages, you know, and my like discrepancies in between, you know, in terms of hijab and stuff like that. So hope you guys enjoyed the video and hope it's a bit informative. And I also thought I'd do this video leading up to my divorce video because I'm just now looking forward to doing the divorce video. It was like to me, first marriage, this is the 17th marriage, this is like 100th marriage. I thought your husband died, you know, you're saying you broke up with him, like blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to give you a little chronology of my life. But yeah, I hope you guys find this video informative, so keep watching. Please make sure you comment, like and subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so you guys get a notification every time I upload a new video, which will be very frequently from now on, henceforth, from here forth, or whatever it is you're supposed to say. I know, or I know, I'm sorry, I don't know. But yeah, so thank you for watching, or thank you for what you're about to watch. Thank you for continuing to watch because you've not watched it yet. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it and hope that you kind of get to know a bit more about me and who I am as a person, and you know why I dress like a hijabi. Jokes. I dress like a hijabi, but obviously some people think I dress like a hijabi, but that's to each their own, right? If you want to call a Muslim girl a hoe or a whore or whatever it is because of how she dresses or how she acts, and that's on you, you know. You know, if you are so desperate for these sins, who am I to stand in your way? Take them. Just take them. Take mine as well with you. Okay, so I met my childhood sweetheart when I was around 16, between 16 and 17, about 16 and a half. I had a relationship with him until we had our preliminary engagement, which is called a sharbat in Arabic. It's basically when the guy's family go over to the girl's house with a sheikh and they're like, we want our son for your daughter. You call that, and we're like, we're cool with that, and they're like, okay, they're for each other, let the world know they're for each other. They've not yet had their nikah, but they're for each other. So I had that when I was about 19 years old. When I was about 21, I think it was, I had my nikah. This is all, by the way, to my childhood sweetheart. And then when I was 23, I got married in what became my first marriage. And I later got divorced at, not even later, shortly afterwards, I got divorced at 24. Apparently I had to wait to get married to decide this was not the right thing for me. 24, had a midlife crisis, decided, you know what, I want to take off my hijab. So that I did. I've been wearing, by the way, my hijab since I was 8 years old. So, you know, here came this midlife crisis where I felt that this is the time that I'm going to take off my hijab, and the reason being for this is I felt, you know, quite judged as a Muslim woman. So basically, if I was kind of like, if I had shortcomings within my religion, within my relationship with God, I felt constantly like under scrutiny by my peers, not even peers, but my community mainly, and what we like to call haram police. So because I felt so judged wearing it, I thought, you know what, if I take it off, they'll kind of like wash their hands off me. So yeah, I'll talk shit for like a month, 2 months, 3 months, and they'll forget about me because I'm no longer part of the community. Because let's face it, that's what our communities like to do. They like to ostracize her and like shoo her out of the community. So I thought, you know what, when people see me doing, if someone saw me doing something wrong, or not necessarily so Islamic, as I don't know, having a tattoo, they wouldn't really look twice if I wasn't wearing a scarf. Whereas if I was wearing a scarf, they'd look twice and judge. So I guess I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take it off. And that's what I did. So I took it off when I was 24. And I found myself going deeper and deeper in this slippery slope. And you know what the worst thing is? A lot of people say to me like this is not hijab or this is not hijab, and do you know what? I consider these people to be the devil. And I'll tell you why. You know, for a girl to decide that she wants to perhaps wear her scarf in this format, turban, or for her to take off her scarf, she's battling with so many insecurities within herself to reach this point. You know, whether she feels judged, she's not like part of the Western community, she's not part of her own community, she's just like not finding her place. She's having her own jihad, her own personal jihad, which is basically her own personal struggle. Okay? When she first makes the decision to wear a turban or to take her scarf off, it's mainly to kind of be more accepted by the Western society, so, and not viewed as hijabi or terrorist or ISIS or whatever it is. Are we oppressed? Are we terrorists? I've lost count. Anyway, so that's what happens. And then what our community think, oh, they're so smart, we're gonna ostracize her, we're gonna like banish her from our community. When I say banish, I'm not gonna tell you physically you cannot come here again. Like, you can't sit with us. It's not like that. They'll just make her feel so uncomfortable that where this girl took off her hijab and was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take it off so I feel less judged, but I'm gonna, which is what I was doing, what I was saying to myself, or what I was convincing myself. I'm gonna take off my hijab, I'm gonna focus on reading more Quran, I'm gonna focus on fixing out my prayers, I'm gonna focus on all these other pillars of Islam until I perfect them, and then, and only then, I'm gonna think about putting the scarf back on. So where the girl is fully doing it with the best of intentions, when her community ostracises her and makes her feel so uncomfortable to even go to the mosque, what happens is she'll feel more and more alone. And who else is going to be there to accept with open arms apart from the Westernized society and the non-Muslim society? And I promise you, speaking from experience, the minute you go on this slope into the Westernized society and into kind of like becoming more Westernized yourself, it's such a slippery slope. You start, your moral compass, your religious compass rather, completely changes. Where these were your limits, day by day, month by month, the minute you feel like, you know, you don't have a home within this community anymore, you're not welcomed, you don't feel welcomed by this community anymore, the more you get closer to the Westernized side of things, the more your religious compass changes. What you saw as this is okay, slightly frowned upon, but that is never, they'll shift. So an example would be you're going to after work drinks with your colleagues without an intention to drink. Is there, you know, that's okay, that's kind of on the boundary kind of thing, just about. And going clubbing and drinking, that's the never. What will happen is going to eventually you'll reach this point where you become numbed to the situations around you. That's all you're going to be around every day, and that's the worst kind of thing that could happen to you, because the minute you're numb to it, that's when you forget the gravity of how wrong it is. When you forget the gravity of how wrong it is, that's when you're more likely to do it. So what was a never, i.e. the clubbing or the drinking, you're now doing as a, oh, I know I shouldn't be doing this, but it's okay, God knows what's in my heart, God understands, etc, etc. And then, you know, going to a pub where some people might look at you like look at it like the devil, becomes like a normal thing for you, you know, after work drinks, normal thing, everything normal. So my point and what I'm trying to say is your religious compass completely changes, and it changes without you even realising. One day, and you don't know when that day will come, one day all of a sudden you're okay to go out clubbing and you're like, how did I get here, man? Like, seriously, how did I go from there to here? And I promise you, it's, you know, if only this girl took off her hijab and her local mosque or her community welcomed her and they didn't judge her, didn't make her feel like a hoe because she took off her hijab, like, she might not have, the situation might have been a little different for her. Like, imagine, like, her community makes her feel like a hoe, and the actual real hoe community makes her feel like an angel. What would you do as a human being? So, I digress, as usual. What I was trying to say was I took off my hijab when I was 24. Then I found myself on that slippery slope, going deeper and deeper and deeper down, and I'm like, okay, it's going out of hand. I need to put my hijab back on, only because I can't control this myself. And the hijab will stop me. So I put my scarf back on when I was 25, and then I started working in my field, which was law, and I, you know, my boss was always like, you know, in the law industry, she was Jewish, Jewish Iranian, she goes to me, you know, in this field it's better to not wear a scarf, blah blah, and you know, obviously it started eating in my head, and I'm like, you know what, now I'm gonna take it off, but I'm gonna do it for the right reasons, not for the wrong reasons, and I'm gonna, you know, be steadfast on my route to try and better my deen, but I'll take off my hijab just so my work life is easier, etc. So I ended up taking it again off when I was 26. I started working, and again you get on that slippery slope, and this is the worst kind of slippery slope because you're very, very numb to it. I mean, I always, when I came back to Islam, when I came back, I never left, but I left. My soul left. My heart left. When my heart came back, I remember, oh god, it always gets me emotional. I remember reading, oh lord, I remember reading this ayah, and I don't know exactly, oh my god, emotional. Okay. Ooh, oh. I remember reading this verse from the second surah, Surah Baqarah, where it says, they chose to be blind, so I made them even more blind, something along them lines. And what I interpret that to mean is, you know, you go about your daily life making certain things halal for you, and like we kind of tell ourselves, oh, you know, it's okay if I do this haram, it's okay if I do that haram, it's okay if I do this haram, and you know, you got so many people nowadays who by name they're Muslim, but you know, they drink, and they pretty much are living a westernized lifestyle. They'll drink, they'll go out, they'll do, you know, everything, but they're Muslim, okay? They don't pray and whatever. And it's almost that lifestyle where you've actually convinced yourself you're a decent human being. God knows what's inside your heart. Therefore, you know, it's not that bad. So what if you drink at home with your husband, or so what if you're like, and you start to lie to yourself a bit, and then what will happen is God will almost, while you're lying to yourself and shielding yourself from the truth, God will put the biggest shield possible onto you, and you will, and that's the worst shield to have, because you can never come out of that. Because once God shields you from the actual truth, that's it. How are you even going to ever make it back alive? Like, I've been so lucky in my life where I've reached these points, and God's given me like the massivest signs, whether it's in the form of dreams, whether it's in the form of my death of my husband. He's given me these massive signs to kind of just like wake me up, and I'm so thankful and grateful that he's felt I was worthy to call back, if that makes sense. I know it sounds really stupid, but anyway, that's that. So, and I don't want to hear this, oh no, I'm going to hear some bullshit, like, oh, if he called you back, why are you like this now? Why are you wearing this? Why the makeup? Why the nails? Why the turban? Why the hair? Why the tattoos? Blah, blah, blah. It's the same people that are going to talk shit, and the same people that I really couldn't give two shits what I think, so it doesn't matter. Shit and shit. So yeah, so I took off the hijab, blah blah. Again, this time I was doing it in the correct way, and I was being very mature about it. I was 26, so it's fine. I was working, I was doing it for work purposes, and again I find myself going through that slippery slope. Met my husband, my late husband, which was the one who passed away. I met him when I was 27. I met him in June 2014, so I was 27 at the time. And we were swiftly married. I met him on Tinder, believe it or not. I was on that level. I was on Tinder. That was my religiosity, that word, religiosity compass, whatever it is. I was on Tinder. Telling myself, that's cool. I can try and find a husband who's a bit more open-minded like I am right now. Yeah, not the case. But anyway, obviously if you know about Tinder, that is not quite what people are on there for. As I later found out, but alhamdulillah, God didn't let me find that out. He just gave me like a needle in a haystack in Mo, my late husband. And so I meet Mo for a first date on the 10th of June 2014, and we had our nikah recited on the 21st of June 2014. Like, it was literally, if that wasn't God's plan, I don't know what was. Like literally, it was the most impossible thing that could have come out of Tinder happened. And that's what that was. So I got married to him. I moved in pretty much straight away. Can you imagine you move in with someone 2 weeks after meeting them? Like, it was mad, but everything was right. Like, it's just crazy. And yeah, I was living with him. We went on holidays. We did up our house together. We just did everything together. And then came December. We were obviously Islamically married. Came December time-ish, January, beginning of January. I missed my time on that, and I was like, okay, I think, I'm not sure, I think I'm pregnant. So I took a pregnancy test and found out between early mid-January 2015 that I was actually pregnant. Obviously we were Islamically married. The majority of my community didn't know, and like a lot of people like didn't know that we were married because it was just a quick contract thing at, you know, local sheikh's office. And what happened was we planned our wedding, you know, set the date 8th of March 2015. That was the day we were planning, both of us planning, had it at such an amazing location, Landmark Hotel in London. You know, had the wedding. 20 days later, on the 28th of March, my husband had a motorcycle accident and died suddenly at the scene. And since then I've just been trying to recover. So in about a month's time it's going to be our 3-year wedding anniversary, and in about 2 months' time it's going to be his 3-year death anniversary, which is crazy. But yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, so then obviously 2.5 years later, so we're talking September 2017 that just went, I was on an app called Muzmatch and Minder, and I met my now ex-fiance on Muzmatch, and basically thought, yes, this is the one. Can I get married? Can I have babies? Gonna move abroad and I don't know, live my life. But I realised within pretty much 2 months that this was not the right thing for me. And I think I was a bit shadowed by the fact that, you know, I'm a divorcee, I'm a widow, I have a baby, I'm a single mother. I need to kind of not be so fussy, which was the mistake I made, because no, I want to continue being fussy until I get what I want to get. And that's what I decided was the right thing for me, so I broke it off, and my breakup video is, and the reasons why I broke it off are in a video somewhere, possibly in the recommended section here, or you can find it on my channel. But yeah, so this is the story. This is my about me in summary. I was married once, then divorced, and then married twice, then widowed, and then almost married, but I broke it off. So technically I kind of was able to get 3 husbands if I wanted to. Just reading the comments on my breakup video, like the guys that are messaging, brothers, this woman is only not to marry, just to warm your bed. Like, bruv, who is ever gonna warm your bed? Like, you're gonna continue living with your mother for the rest of your life. Okay, so can we chill? And the girls are like, oh, if he was the decent guy who would want you anyways, if he just followed you on social media, he'd lose interest. He's seen my social media, he's seen my snaps. Like, that shade of jealousy is so ugly on some girls. 3 guys. I managed to husbandify 3 guys. 2 guys and 2 husbands. So I got 2 guys to go the whole 9 yards. The 3rd guy, who they're referring to, was very, very willing to go the whole 9 yards. Like, I remember one Friday, we were discussing where this was going, and I like to throw my questions out really early on, like, where's this going? What is marriage? Like, this is how you decipher between the fuckboys and the serious guys. So you just throw these questions out really early on, and if they have bad intentions, just run away. So I threw these questions out really early on. He's like, look, if you want to go and have the nikah on Monday, this was a Friday, he was telling me, on Monday, I'll book it on Monday. So technically it's almost 3 husbands I was able to make out of guys. And the girls commenting that bullshit clearly are having problems getting one. But anyway, I'm not here to address the haters, because the haters, they'll forever be, they will never go. they can stay here. But yeah, so that's it. So just to summarise, I've had 2.5 husbands, technically. So my first husband, who I married 8 years ago and divorced a year later, and my second husband, who I married 4 years ago and who passed away a year later. I'm like the Black Widow. Like, what the fuck? Like, literally, like, just saying it out loud, it's like every single guy is cursed to be with me. Oh god, this is a really bad advert. It's not an advert. I don't care. It's fine. But that's just really bad. Like, can you imagine? I was like, don't get with her because you own that. I hope this will be informative, and thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe by clicking the buttons below, and please do turn on post notifications so you guys get notification when I upload my new videos, because I'm gonna upload them a lot more frequently, and they're all gonna be this kind of style anyway. So I'd like to hear the sound of my own voice. I'm joking, I actually hate it. Anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Comment, like and subscribe.